Hello, everybody. It's me again. So, we finally have some guaranteed confirmation of longevity of Chaos Zero Nightmare. But let me explain what I mean. So, with me talking about, of course, I've been ranting and rambling about the currency, right? People aren't going to want to buy new characters to not be able to build them because we're dirt broke. Right? I would rather have an overabundance of currency in a virtual game than have none at all to where it's scarce to build even the 4 stars that you can't puzzle into your team. So these patch notes are more important than what you think they are. So let's go over them. I went over them a little bit, but let's go over them together. So they have reduced the leveling of units and leveling of partners to 20% of what it originally was. It went from a 1 million to 216,000. That I cannot tell you how great that is. And they're retroactively giving us the XP materials or not the XP materials, the units back for the units we already leveled up. That is amazing. That honestly shows that they care about people actually having fun in their game rather than trying to bottleneck people to try and force them to buy certain things. This shows they care about the player base. They are also adding a secondary shop called the Black Horn Trade, where essentially you just get currency. It's an extra currency when you go through your chaos modes to buy extra things like the weekly eyeballs and feathers and other little goodies for potentials and everything to level up your characters, which is fantastic. More income, more flow to the player just for playing the game. That's what we like to see. And it's not super effective by the difficulty level, which isn't too big of an issue because, you know, if you've been playing since day one, you should be pretty far into the chaos levels, if not at in-game level difficulty, just basically going through the loop, improving your decks. So the chaos gameplay, they just added a normal thing. If you guys ever played Slay the Spire, it is the same exact thing where the first 3 monsters have 1 HP. First 3 normal battles, they have 1 HP, which isn't a super big deal. I know sometimes in Slay the Spire, if you had an early elite, that would be super great. But I don't think you can check the map before you actually get to the map. So you really can't coordinate that well. So it's alright if you want to try and speed through it and get those early epiphanies. You see what they're going for, but it's not a super big deal. It's just a little bit extra to help you if you want to start out. If you're having a little bit of a harder time with a new comp, this will basically help you get through those epiphanies and basically get your deck started a little bit earlier. They are doing something that they should have done from the beginning. Now, I will say, I think they should add just one more step, but we cannot be angry with what they're doing. They are finally adding the tracker with your point limit per character during your runs. So you can see if you're going over cap or not. You can see if your build saves or not, which is such a huge progress point for how early that they're implementing all this. First, they broke it down, gave us a point-by-point system, and now it's already being implemented into the game. When, keep in mind, yes, it should have been implemented earlier, possibly with the start of the game if they have this system to begin with. But with how fast they're retroactively improving the gameplay experience, just shows that they are trying their hardest. And that honestly, we should give them a little bit of leeway for how good they're doing. But I think they should add, on top of this, just one more thing of each card you get. Maybe they break it down for the cards you're getting, or if you're going to put them in your deck, like if you're buying them at the shop and you're choosing the selector, it'll show you how many points that specific card is going to be before you add it to the deck. So you can be like, oh, if I want to add this, or I can if I have enough points to play with. Or when you're choosing your epiphany, if you're getting a god epiphany, it shows you then. You know, little things like that I feel like would be great. Loving it so far. That would be the only addition I would have to this. But honestly, great thing. They're also reducing skill animations. I didn't really care too much. But, you know, for the people who really want to try and speedrun and go through things, this will definitely be an improvement. I don't know how fast they're making it, but, you know, little by little, eventually I'm pretty sure they're going to do like a skip for the animations, not a toggle. But, so they're also doing some quality of life improvements, clearly displaying the current turn count. This is really great for the, what's it called? The Memory of Chaos in this. Twilight. Dimensional Twilight, I believe it is, or the Basin, which is, it's nice. They also do a quick formation, so you don't have to individually click them. You can just go bam, 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 load it in. Great quality of life improvements. Never gonna complain about something like that. They're also gonna do some improved animations of the different aspects of the mental breakdown, making it more intense, more immersive, trying to really get you into it and be like, holy crap, my character's losing it right now. And one of the biggest things that we can talk about is the potential of retroactively improving characters if they don't hit immediately. Now, let me tell you why this Yuki change and what they're doing is so important. So instead of buffing numbers and just trying to keep her kit the same, they're going to look at the least used epiphanies, and then based on that intel, off the information that they're getting, they are then going to change epiphanies to try and be able to make different builds with the characters and make them actually usable instead of just discarded and left alone. So this is why it's so important, is as long as we give good feedback, as long as we actually give constructive criticism on how different characters play, on how they can be actually improved, and just say, well, they're weak, we can't do anything. If you give constructive criticism, there is potential for every character to be viable, even if they don't smack on release, even if they don't be overpowered as crap. They are going to make it so every character is playable. Every character has different facets of how you can play. Because there's already parts of Yuki that made her possible single target nuke. But it just wasn't there yet. It was just only a little bit. Hopefully, with these changes in the future, they don't want to risk overbalancing characters. They also don't want to risk having overpowered characters, which I think this is a great mindset. Hopefully with this coming up, they can really take a good evaluation, and hopefully new epiphanies will come out in the future for that character, and that'll leave a wider array of possibilities for the characters. Now, they're also saying some things. You can encounter dimensional tunnels in the codex, which basically just means you're going to have regular save data in the codex up until you start to get some seasonal content. Then you will get the marker for seasonal content. So once you start getting, this season's dimensional tunnel with the corrupted cards and everything like that, forbidden cards, I should say, then you will get that mark on the save data. But until then, it's just going to be a regular chaos run, which is cool. Also, if you max out, for the whales out there, if you've already maxed out your characters with your egos, you're going to start getting spectral cubes, which essentially is just going to be things you can get for prism modules combat. Just different things for saying thank you for spending all this money. But for the rest of us that don't have a bunch of egos on our characters, well, it just means that in the future, there is going to be reasons to pull dupes, even if you've already max duped them. That's cool. I love it. Now, again, like I said, this just proves the longevity of this game. It shows that they're listening. They want to make their characters fun. They don't want to make them too overpowered, and they're constantly improving the game. There's been so many changes since the release of this game that I think some games have seen in a year, half a year, something like that. It's been a month, and they're already doing all these different things, making things better step by step. Of course, there are some things I could complain about, but why would I complain about it now when they're doing so good? And honestly, you know, I'm gonna have some criticism to help with things, because obviously people, even my little voice, people who have a voice that are genuinely trying to improve this game should speak up, but it shouldn't be in straight negativity. It should be in a positive, helpful way, because we all want this game to be good, and the developers want it to be good. We want it to be good because we like playing the game. It's just how it is. So as long as we work together and we don't start making this a negative, toxic pit, the game will keep improving, keep coming out with great characters, and keep being one of the best gacha games I've ever played. And you know, if you guys have any thoughts about it, I would really like to hear what you'd want to do to change the game and everything, or how you feel about these patch notes. If you think that just changing the numbers are enough, or if you just want Yuki to actually have different epiphanies to make her partially a different character. But, you know, I thank you guys for watching. Truly have a good one. Bye.